Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. How are you? How is life? March is over. Goodbye. We read a lot of books this month. I read a lot of books this month. So actually, having a look at how many books I read this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I read 8 books this month, and there's like 2 days worth of March left because I'm filming this a couple of days in advance. So there may be another one. But I'm going to talk about the 8 that I've actually just read, and we'll take it from there. So this is a wrap-up video. If you do not know me, welcome to my little cutesy community on the internet. I welcome you, and I hope that you stay. It would be very nice if you stayed. I would love that. Today we're going to talk about my March reads. What I read in March, what I enjoyed in March, what I did not enjoy in March, but there wasn't that many. I actually had a really good reading month. My TBR jar picked some smashing reads for March. So I actually don't have any physical books to show you because 90% of the books that I read were on my Kindle. I downloaded them. The other 10% were audiobooks because I don't know what went through my head this month, but I just wasn't really interested in reading any physical books. I have the physical copies of a lot of the books that I read, but I just didn't read them. I just downloaded them onto the Kindle. Sue me. So, starting with the very, very beginning of the month, I've got my list here. Got my Storygraph, by the way. I love Storygraph. Storygraph is so much better than Goodreads. Whoever says Goodreads is better is lying to themselves. And I actually think Storygraph is better than Fable. Sorry. Fable is really for the girlies. It is really for the girlies, and it's cutesy, and it's like Spotify Wrapped kind of thing. I'm like an analytics girly. I like the numbers, so Storygraph just works better for me. But I read Mirror of Beasts. Mirror of Beasts is the second book in the Silver in the Bone duology, and I'm kind of sad that this duology is over, but I had a very good time, and off the back of reading Silver in the Bone at the end of February, I was excited to jump into this. Now, Silver in the Bone was a 5-star read for me. This one was a 4. I'm going to give this a 4-star read. Mainly because it wasn't as good as the first one, but I always find its second books are never as good as the first one. But I couldn't not pick it up because I was so gripped by the story. So it's got a little bit of a King Arthur retelling vibe, or it's got King Arthur lore. It's definitely not a retelling, but it does have King Arthur lore. It is very magical and whimsical. So we follow Tamsin, who is a hollower, whose essential job is she works on commission to find magical artifacts, and in the first book they end up traveling to Avalon in search for a magical artifact, which is the Ring of Dispel. She's trying to find it to break a curse on her brother, who is cursed. And in this book we follow a continued story after the cliffhanger of the first one, where she and her Avalonian friends end up back in the mortal world, and it's all about two worlds colliding, and she is still trying to break the curse. So we will soon see if anyone else enjoys this. I loved this book. This one I feel like just isn't rated highly enough. It's not one that you hear about often, and I just love it. I think it's really, really good. The next book was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and this book was a 3-star. I'll be honest, I had a lot of high hopes for this book, with it being one of the first, if not the first, sports romances that Ali Hazelwood has written. She wrote Bride, which I loved. I also loved The Love Hypothesis, but didn't really enjoy any of the other STEM romance books. This one just fell flat for me. At the very beginning, they wrote out pages of what they were into sexually, and then none of it happened. It was very tame. For it being supposedly more of a spicy book, it was very tame. The spice was there, don't get me wrong, but It wasn't what I was expecting. I'll put it that way. I mean, actually, the diving part was interesting. It was really interesting learning about the different types of sports that they were taking part in. I really enjoyed that part, but I just didn't enjoy the rest of it. So it's a 3-star. Then I read a wee cheeky 4-star book, and that was Butcher and Blackbird. Now, Butcher and Blackbird is, I have heard, is like the step into dark romance, or darker romance, because I don't think that the dark romance girlies class this as a dark romance. I didn't know whether I'd like this or not, because apparently it is quite spicy. It's serial killers killing serial killers, and they fall in love, and they have like a game together, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I'm actually really excited to pick up the next 2 in the series. I can't remember the name of them. I know that one of them is Scythe and Sparrow, I believe. But I can't remember whether that's the second or the third one. But it was a 4-star read. I'm really excited to pick up the second one. I didn't actually think I would like it as much as I did. It was really surprising. It definitely surprised me. So I can't wait to pick it up. We had 2 5-star reads next. The first one, Assassin's Blade. I am doing a reread, as I say in all of these wrap-up videos, and I probably will until the reread is complete. I am doing a podcast reread of The Mass first. We started with Throne of Glass. The episodes are starting to drop from the 3rd weekend in April, and they'll be every 3 weeks. So we've done Throne of Glass, we've done Crown of Midnight, we've now read Assassin's Blade, and we're going to read Heir of Fire in April. So I am super excited, but I don't think I appreciated Assassin's Blade as much as I do now. I remember reading it, and it's more of a collection of short stories, so I remember reading it during my first ever read of Throne of Glass and just kind of being like, oh, okay, it was fine. And then every time I've read Throne of Glass since, I don't pick up Assassin's Blade, but I did this time, and I'm so glad that I did. I have such an increased respect and love for this little collection of stories, and knowing all the lore and the things that I do now, it made the time reading it so much more enjoyable, and I just had a really good time. The second book that I read was Heavenly Bodies. Oh my god, why did I put this off so long? This was amazing. It really, really, really brought back yearning. Like, the yearning in this book was top tier, like god tier, 10-star yearning. They kept being interrupted every time they were going to kiss. They were so back and forward with each other. It's like an enemies to lovers. Her prophecy is to fall in love with this star who's like a type of god. And then they're going to kill each other, except she falls in love with somebody else. And the whole ordeal is like her trying to kill the star, and she's kidnapped by another kingdom. That happens at the start, by the way. That's not a spoiler. But so good. So good. It really brought back a yearning. The enemies to lovers was so real. Such a good time. Like, such a good time. I'm so excited for when the next one comes out. Cannot wait. I'm so buzzed. But 10 out of 10, god tier collection, Heavenly Bodies. The last 3 books that I read then, I read the second Spicy in Seattle book by Sophie Snow. This was really good. I rated this a 4-star. Legally Binding sent me over the edge. Like, I don't think anything is going to compare to the love that I have for Legally Binding. However, False Confidence came pretty close. So this is about the son of the male main character in Legally Binding and the best friend of the female main character in Legally Binding. Because Legally Binding is a wee bit of an age gap, so it works really beautifully. So they hook up initially at the wedding of their best friend and father, and then they essentially do some sort of like fake dating vibe. Spoilers, you can skip this part by like 20 seconds, but her whole sort of ideal is that she can't finish in like the bedroom, right? So he makes it his mission, because his whole thing is like, I want to do this, like, and he notices that she fakes it the first time or the second time they like sleep together, and he's like, challenge accepted. Of course they fall in love, like that's the whole vibe, but it's really good and it's beautiful and I loved it. So thank you, Sophie. And if anyone would like to read Sophie's books, or find out a little bit more about Sophie, we had her on the podcast recently. So I have a podcast, Faith and Fiction. We have a really good time over there. Please come and join us. But we had Sophie on the podcast recently, and it was such a nice time. Also, Sophie lives in Glasgow, so she lives near me, and we met up at the ice hockey, like a few weeks ago. That was last week, babe. God, the time is moving so slowly this year. But we met up at the ice hockey. It was so nice to see her in person. So, Sophie, if you're watching, I love this book. I cannot wait to read the next one. And it was really nice to meet you. Lots of love. I have lots of love for you. Okay, the last 2 books then, I read in a burnout. So I went through a burnout this month. I really, really struggled. I had a couple of mental health blips, physical health blips this month, and it was not the best time. So for the last sort of week and a half of March, I just wanted something super, super easy to binge. I just wanted something light-hearted that didn't involve a lot of concentration, but I wasn't in the mood for like romance, I guess. So I finally re-picked up the Zodiac Academy. So Zodiac Academy, I read the first book of Zodiac Academy probably like a year ago, and I just didn't like it. I actually DNF'd during the first book, and a lot of people say that you have to get through the first one. But this time, I loved it. I thought it was really good. Now, do not get me wrong. It is not peak literature. If you go into these books thinking that they are peak literature, I am so sorry. But they are like the most fun 5-star hilarious read ever. They are ridiculous. Basically, it is about 2 twins, Darcy and Tori. They lived in the mortal world, and then on their 18th birthday, they started emitting some kind of like signal to the Fae realm. And turns out they're Fae. Turns out they are like the lost heirs to the throne of Solaria. And they go and they have to go through Zodiac Academy, and their powers are awakened. And they are said that you can claim your inheritance and take your rightful throne, but you have to make it through Zodiac Academy and something called the Reckoning. We haven't had the Reckoning yet. So they meet the celestial heirs, 4 Fae boys. And what I actually thought was really cool is like there's so many different types of Fae. You've got like shifters, you've got like Pegasus shifters, you've got like the wolves, you've got the vampires, you've got like the sirens. Really good. Really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So I read the first and the second one. The first one was a 5-star, the second one was a 4-star. They were good. Like, I'm excited to read the rest of them. They are very, very bingeable, fun, good time reads. As I said, they are not peak literature. If you're looking for like outstanding writing, amazing plot, like top tier, like God-scented books, this is not for you. However, there are loads of these. There's multiple series. And like, I thoroughly enjoyed them. They are really good. They're really funny. They're a wee bit spicy. They're good time reads. It's quite bully romance-esque. Also, the plot actually was pretty good. Like, I'm invested. So, I would heavily recommend these. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have been totally turned by these books. I hated the first one. I DNF'd it. And now all of a sudden I'm obsessed. Like, I get the hype now. So, to anyone who heard me slag these books before because I did not make it through the first one, I am so sorry. Because these are really good. I'm so excited to read the rest of them, but that's where we are. So that's all I'm gonna say, really. This is a pretty short video today. I just wanted to jump on here and chat about the books that I had read in the month of March. Oh my god, I am so tired. I need to go to bed. I'm so tired. I have to go grocery shopping after this. I also think I'm really tired because I started a new fitness I started a new fitness program schedule thing. And I went on a run this morning and I'm exhausted. And I have to go grocery shopping this afternoon. And I feel like I have to do something else other than grocery shopping. Crimson and I are jumping in the Discord to read this afternoon, I think, because we are having SJ, who wrote The Price of Innocence, another author. We're slamming it out with the authors right now over on Fanfic and Fiction. We've got SJ, who wrote The Price of Innocence, coming on the podcast this week. So I need to read her book, so I'm going to start that today. But I just wanted to say a really big thank you to anyone who has subscribed, because at the time I am filming this, I have 180 subscribers, and the fact that I reached 100 is baffling to me, and the fact that I have actually reached 180 is incredible. My goal for like 2025 is to reach 500, and to think that I'm already like a third of that. Like I'm on track to reach that maybe by the end of the year. So thank you so much for anyone who is a repeat returner or has subscribed or is just here in my little corner community of the internet, because it means the world to me, and I love chatting and I love yapping. So thank you so much. This has been a really good time. So if you would like, I would like to know what you read in March. Comment 1 or 2 books that you read in March. If you only read like a page, comment what you read a page of, because I'd be interested, and let me know if you liked it. If you don't know what to comment, comment any clover emoji, because I am Irish and it was St. Patrick's Day in March. So let's hit it out with a bang. I think I'm just chatting for chatting's sake now. I am rambling. Like nothing that's coming out of my mouth makes sense. So I am skedaddling. Thank you for watching. I will see you in another video. Lots of love. Goodbye.